So moving a little forward, I would say about towards mid-80s, between mid-80s and early 90s, breaking went back underground. Okay, and a lot of people for a long time thought breaking was completely dead. Like literally people would be like, oh, people still do that? But it was always underground. And particularly, this is where breaking took a worldwide stance. At that point, it got big in Europe. In Europe, Germany, Switzerland, France, all those places in Europe, they took breaking and they brought it to the next level. Crews such as Battle Squad, Actual Force, like Suicidal Lifestyles, The Family, these old crews took breaking, took what we do now, and they learned from watching the founders from here and took it to the next level. People like my inspirations like Storm, Swift Rock, these dudes took breaking to a level that is unprecedented. They kept, thanks to them, they kept what we love, all of us here love, alive. Because for now, there was only a few B-boys in America still dancing. At that point, another thing I want to touch on, and a lot of people that aren't in the know, always they tend to say, oh yeah, breaking and popping are kind of one, and we pop and lock. Those are all different dances. All different dances. Breaking is a completely different art form than popping. No one ever hits the floor and gets up and, you know what I mean? If you see that, just tell him no. That would be, in essence, for those of you that don't know, that would be like a ballet dancer doing pirouettes and then going into like tap dancing. Exactly. It's funny to you that. So that would be kind of what it's like. So those are all different dances. Popping, really quickly, popping came from the West Coast. Popping originated in California. And I'm not a popper, so I can't really demonstrate that for you, but popping is another form of hip-hop dance. They came from California along with locking, which is another dance, and there's tons of other underground dances that people don't know about. But don't get them confused. Even though they're in the same family, they're completely different dances. Now, in breaking, there's four or five main criteria that you need to be a b-boy, okay? The 4 or 5 criteria, Tony, I'm gonna need your assistance. Give it up to Tony. Yeah, all right. So in breaking, there's yeah, I'm gonna say something, but I stopped. In breaking, there's criteria you need to be a b-boy. First criteria you need is your top rocks. Your top rocks would be how you dance up top. Okay, basically. So we don't need no music. We can give them a solo clap. Let's show them the top rock real quick, Tony.
Top rock, oh, floor.
We don't need no floor. Alright, so that's the basic idea. Top rocking is how you dance up top. Top rocking, in essence, is actually probably the most important part of breaking because it shows your individual character, your individual style. Okay? Top rocking, again, a lot of people when they think of breaking, all those guys just spin on their heads. A big important part of breaking is the actual dance. And a lot of b-boys, a lot of you younger b-boys forget that you need to dance. You can spin on your pinky 100 times in a row, but if you can't dance to the beat, that's only so good. And then you have b-boys such as Migas or people like that well, they did power moves as well, but could just destroy you with style and footwork. So keep in mind, your style is actually deadlier than your moves, okay? The next thing in breaking would be your footwork. Now, footwork is basically how you dance on the floor. Your feet movement. Basic footworks include 6 steps, CCs, shuffles, things of that nature. Tony's going to show you a little bit of basic footwork. Smooth. Basic footwork. These are all foundational steps. Now you notice, very good, now you notice it was very fluid, everything flowed together, he was very light on his feet, very ninja-like, okay? And it's not because he's Asian, you know, but he did a great job, and that's, again, footwork. It's supposed to be fluid, everything is supposed to link together, everything is supposed to just combine. Now, again, there's a million different subcategories. There's text, there's shuffles, there's sweeps, there's threads is another big one, okay? Threads, there's 1,000 moves there you can do within your footwork. But again, your footwork has to be you. And footwork should be the main thing a b-boy should be working on, should get tough to develop his style. Now, the next thing in breaking would be your power moves, or air moves, as people like to know them as. Power moves are the things that people say, those are cool, man. Air moves, moves such as swipes, head spins, flares, air flares, crickets, 90s, and now, that was rad, man, right? Those are the moves those are the eye-catching moves, and those are the things that give breaking that gymnastic aspect, if you will. Now, Tony's gonna show us some basic power moves. That's right. Those are swipes, air swipes, double-legged air swipes, flares, as they do gymnastics. Those are windmills. That's a track. And it leads us to the next thing, which is the freeze. Very good. The man's working hard. Don't worry, I'll buy you dinner later. So, the last thing he did, if you notice, he ended it with a freeze, which is, now in breaking is like a story, okay? You have your title, okay? You have your middle, and then you have your end. The end to your breaking should be your freeze. Everybody pretty much, that's self-explanatory, but your freeze is basically stopping your body in certain movements. You want to demonstrate a couple freezes? Here's some basic freezes. Chair freeze. Different variations. Bam. Bam. Show them some handstand freezes, if you can. Or just go to sleep, whatever. Some up top freezes, any kind. This is a basic handstand freeze. There's hollow backs. There's thousands of other freezes like that. What up, what up? Okay? As you know, now it's important as a b-boy, when you come out, you need to start it off with your top rock. That's the beginning of your novel, of your book. You go into your footwork, you go all your power moves, and you always end it with your freeze. Okay? So thank you, Tony. Give it up for Tony. Yeah, Tony. All right, so that was a brief little explanation about what a b-boy should look like. Now, another big, in the 80s and particularly, not so much these days, but it should be, another big important thing in breaking was the fashion, b-boy fashion. B-boy fashion was actually more prominent than most of you know. A lot of the styles that we see today actually come from original b-boy fashion. People, you have to keep in mind that breaking was done by urban youth in New York particularly. They didn't have a lot of money, so they couldn't go out and buy nice jackets and nice things. So what did they do? They take a t-shirt and graph it up. They show their own style. They would wear what they can. So I'll give you an example of b-boy fashion in the 80s. Lees, which were the jeans at the time. The tight-fitted jeans, but they could still rock in them. They were fresh. Mock necks, which is what you saw me wearing earlier, the black ones. This thing here had dual elements. First, at that time, mock necks, they're kind of like the thing, they were good for, they were stylish at that time, mock necks. But really, they were used for spins. People don't realize this material here prevents friction on the floor. So when you put this on the floor, if you can spin 5 times on the floor regularly without that, you put that on, you're spinning about 15 times. So, mock necks was another thing. Nameplate belts, which were big not too long ago, just recently came back. Remember the nameplate belts? Everybody, that's how you had your identity. You had Excel, or Spy, or Junie, or whatever on your nameplate belt. And when you went, you let people know, this is who I am. There you go. Junie has Junie, show everybody your nameplate belt. There you go. Very good. That's a nameplate belt. B-boy fashion. Beanies, like Junie's wearing on his head. And hats, the whole hat to the back, or the whole hat, that's b-boy style. That was showing your own originality. Your hats, the trucker hats, with the graph on them, those, again, had dual uses. They looked fresh, and you can identify who you were, but they also, when you did your head spins and your tracks, it was easier to do your moves with.